The Speaker of the House of Commons has apologized for praising a Ukrainian veteran with Nazi ties. This happened during Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Ottawa on Friday, rather. CTV's Kevin Gallagher has the story.
There were multiple standing ovations to celebrate Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's address to Parliament Friday. But one applause after House of Commons Speaker Anthony Rota introduced a Ukrainian Second World War veteran from his riding is being condemned.
And continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
The man being honored is Yaroslav Hunka, now identified as a veteran of a Nazi SS division.
He openly stated that he joined this division voluntarily in 1943.
Ivan Kachanovsky is a Ukrainian war history expert. He was tipped off that Hunka served in the 1st Ukrainian Division, also known as the 14th Waffen Grenadier SS Division, commanded by the Nazis. The University of Ottawa professor even found these photos of Hunka serving in his volunteer unit on a website dedicated to the SS Galicia veterans.
That members of this division were involved in massacres, mass murder of Jews, of Poles and Ukrainians.
The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs was deeply troubled and disturbed by the standing ovation, and the CEO of B'nai B'rith says it is beyond outrageous that Parliament has honored a former member of a Nazi unit this way. Hunka, seen at this Ukrainian rally last year, is from Rota's riding. The Speaker says it was his decision alone to invite the SS veteran, issuing his deepest apologies to Jewish communities in Canada and around the world. Vladimir Putin has falsely defended his invasion of Ukraine as a way to denazify the country. Some fear this scandal will spark more disinformation. Will this fuel more Russian propaganda?
Yes, I think in Russia, it will be presented as basically as Zelensky and even Canadian government supporting Nazis again in Ukraine. But this is not based on reality.
Opposition leaders question where the vetting process went wrong. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre blamed Justin Trudeau, whose personal protocol office is responsible for arranging and vetting all guests and programming for state affairs of this kind, while NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says his party will be raising our concerns about how this was allowed to happen with the government directly. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office says this speaker is independent and did not give notice of Hunka's recognition to them or the Ukrainian delegation. CTV News has reached out to Hunka's family and has yet to receive a response.
With me now is Lori Turnbull. She's a political analyst. Lori, good morning. Thanks for being with us. So let's begin with where this goes next. What are the ramifications of this?
Well, I mean, this is a very unfortunate circumstance. Speaker Rota has apologized, but I think when the House meets today, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to explain what his next steps are going to be. I think, honestly, it's going to be very hard for him if he continues or if he tries to continue as Speaker of the House when the role of the Speaker is to maintain the process, maintain decorum, keep everybody in line and in focus. When he is now kind of the subject of the conversation and the subject of a lot of back and forth on social media around how this happened, I'm not sure that an apology is going to do it.
How did this happen? And let's talk about where the responsibility lies, because as we just heard in Kevin Gallagher's reporting, the PMO is saying the Speaker's office operates independently from the Prime Minister's.
Right. And I mean, honestly, we want that, right? We don't want the Speaker's office. The Speaker is supposed to be independent, as independent as possible from what could be political concerns. The Speaker is supposed to keep everything fair in the House. And so we want to for the most part, we want to have that kind of assurance that the Speaker is running the office independently of PMO. But when you see something like this happen and you think, okay, Zelensky came to the House of Commons, surely the vetting for everybody who was in his space must have been even higher than normal, given the security concerns around him. And so it's hard to kind of get to the bottom of, okay, so how did this happen? How did this person's name come up? Why him and not somebody else? And who asked questions around this person to get a sense of what his role and what his history actually was.
How will this affect Canada's reputation on the international stage, especially during this time of war between Ukraine and Russia?
Well, that's it, right? As your previous guest had said, this is going to be a problem and possibly is a source of misinformation and propaganda for Putin, who is going to say, look, this is something that we have to be concerned about, this connection to the Nazi past. And this is what we're trying to fight against, right? Like this is very dangerous for Canada's reputation. I think that I think most people are probably going to look at this and say Rota's apology is sincere. This was not an intentional error, but at the same time, we just, it makes us look absolutely stupid. It makes us look, good grief, what were we thinking? Why did not more vetting come into this? And again, I think that as long as this, this is not something that the opposition parties are going to let go. This is just going to get worse over the course of the day, I think.
And poor timing for the Liberals, who are already, particularly the Prime Minister, facing some tough polling.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And even if Rota says, I'm sorry, even if Rota resigns, it's not going to be something that the opposition parties are going to take away from the PMO. They're going to say, look, you're the government. And yes, the Speaker's office is independent, but surely you must have asked who's on the list, what's going on. And so the fact that there's the government is so powerful and Rota is a Liberal, it's even if it's not true, even if PMO had nothing to do with it, you're still going to see a lot of push. Pierre Poilievre is going to want to put this on Justin Trudeau's doorstep.